Welcome once again to another walk. I really enjoy taking these walks. I've been excited to do this for the entire week since the last walk, really. And I guess there's nothing more beautiful than taking a walk alongside you guys, especially when sharing similar ideas, similar perspectives. So thank you for walking along, and if you are new to this, join us. Feel free to take part in the discussion on whichever platform you're tuning into this. So on today's walk, we will be discussing the idea or the concept of or on being a lone wolf. And being a lone wolf, as in the name, is essentially being alone or preferring to be alone over constantly being surrounded by other individuals. There are a tremendous amount of benefits to being a lone wolf. We will discuss these shortly, but at the same time there are also times where it could flip around and not be very beneficial. And it's quite ironic because I just mentioned that there's nothing nicer than walking alongside you guys. And so this takes us to looking into the balance of it all. You want to balance being a lone wolf and the times where you are not being a lone wolf. So we will start with the disadvantages. And whatever disadvantage you could see into being a lone wolf, it all comes out of one rule of thumb that could be applied across all of situations in life. And that rule of thumb is too much of anything could always lead to suffering, even if it is beneficial. So, too much time spent alone could lead to suffering, even though some time spent alone is a tremendous opportunity for you to excel and transform and realize deeper meanings in life. When looking at history, we can clearly see that many individuals who have created the greatest impact in the world, they all have a similar pattern, a similar trend in where they had moments in their lives where they decided to be a lone wolf, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally. They decided to take some time off from society every now and then to be alone and seek solitude. But at the same time, if you look at these individuals, they didn't do it forever. Otherwise, we would simply not know anything about them. Right? So, what are the benefits of being a lone wolf? Why do we do it? Why do we sometimes seek solitude? Why is it that sometimes when we are sitting amongst other individuals, we just want to leave? We don't have the energy anymore to put up with this. Why is this so? purpose of being a lone wolf is to essentially introduce a platform where there is no option but to look within. You have put away all distractions. It's a bit windy, I hope this isn't affecting the audio. So you have put away all distractions in order to introduce a platform for you to begin to look within. And you want to look within because it goes back to another walk I did, where essentially everyone is trying to reach their optimum state, and in order to do so they have to rearrange their environment into something that allows them to reach their optimum state. Now, the environment we spend most time with is ourselves, and so if we change our inner environment, how we think of ourselves, how we see ourselves, the very feeling of being in itself, if we change these to something that is more pleasant, this would set us up to allow us to transform and do greater things in life. And of course, greater is relative to the individual, but it allows you to live the life that you want to live, essentially. Whereas if the inner environment isn't pleasant, then you're simply always escaping yourself. And so you could see this quite frequently with individuals. They try to escape themselves through instant gratification. They don't cherish the time being spent alone. When people, and the truth of it is, no matter what you do, there will always be times where you have to be alone. And that's just the nature of life. Things will always rearrange themselves where perhaps everyone around you is busy and so you can't spend time with them. And so what do you do in this case? And so it's in this moment where if you accept and cherish being alone without doing anything that distracts you away from being you, this could be a very transformative process. And so many individuals who have had glimpses of the beauty of being, they may have decided to take on the journey, to take on the lone wolf lifestyle. But the purpose of being a lone wolf is also that when diving into our very being, when broadening the perspective of who we are, we start to increase our capacity to see the beauty of life, to see the beauty of what is happening in every moment, in this moment. And so when we do this, we realize, we gain clarity, we begin to see. In other words, we receive revelations of what this is all about. Perhaps fragmented revelations, or perhaps one big slap from the universe onto our face, making us see and waking us up to the beauty of all of this. But what do you do with these revelations? If you have an incredible cake, so tasty, so lovely, do you decide to just keep it all for yourself? There is one joy in eating this cake, of course, but there is greater joy, you will find out eventually, in sharing this cake. I don't know if you can see, but there's a bit of a swimming pool here. I think it's starting to rain. So here we go. I decided to share with you this swimming pool. How great. And so the beauty of life is essentially sharing moments with each other. And now, going on to the revelations, sharing the revelations. And this is exactly why I love doing this. Because most often than not, you guys have had the same revelations. You guys may have had the same realizations. You guys may have realized something that could be used to build upon what I have realized, or vice versa. And all life really is, it's a dynamic flow of constant change, of constant growth. And you can see this in the simplest aspects of nature. And so, the beauty of being a lone wolf lies essentially in being not a lone wolf. Sometimes we experience lovely sunny days, and sometimes we experience rainy days. But it's what you do in these rainy days that really define the way you see life. How do you see life? Is there this small amount of irritation in the back of your mind constantly irritating you? Are you constantly trying to escape reality? Can you just sit still for a moment, take a breath, and enjoy taking the breath? These are all the things that you begin to learn when spending time alone. You relax, you slow down a bit. And slowing down does not mean ceasing to excel, ceasing to grow. Slowing down just means you are allowing more space to see a lot more, to recognize a lot more. And so when we look at the greatest people in history, or great people in history, who have had their episodes of being a lone wolf intentionally or unintentionally, whether it's the Buddha, Jesus, Moses, Muhammad, more contemporary people today, they have all gone to realize something, to realize a gift that they have, and to then realize that this gift is within everyone only if they decide to open up this gift. And so they come back and they share it. So essentially, it's all about a balance. Can you enjoy being alone whilst enjoy being within other people, taking part society. Excuse me. Sometimes, yes, taking part with and engaging with society, you receive a lot of criticism and judgments, and we often want to escape this. And the easy way out is to take on the lone wolf lifestyle. But it's also important to understand our intentions. Why are we engaging in anything at all? Why are we deciding to be a lone wolf? Why are we deciding to over-socialize? Are we trying to escape something? And this sort of inquiry really requires honesty. We've got to be honest with ourselves to understand what it is we want to achieve in life. What it is we want to do, and why it is we do what we do. Why? Because it gives us clarity. And clarity is the main reason why a lot of us, or the lack of clarity, is the main reason why so many people decide to suffer. It's a bit noisy down there, so go the other way around. So people's judgments is what we most of the time try to escape. But actually, it helps to realize that whatever you do, people will judge you. You can't escape it. You cannot control how people see you. Perhaps to some extent. Perhaps you try to look presentable. Perhaps you try to speak eloquently. Perhaps you try to walk in a certain way, or act, or do certain things to receive certain expected responses from individuals. But what you have now done is you have split your energies. You have split your intentions. It's not something that you enjoy doing anymore. Perhaps it's something to please other people. But on people's judgments, this actually reminded me of a funny story. It's quite a famous story actually, you may have heard this. Where at a monastery, some monks were complaining about this other monk who is doing their spiritual practices in an unconventional way. What is he doing? He is doing all of his practices while naked, completely naked. And, you know, this can't happen, it's unacceptable, it's absurd. And so they decided to go and confront this monk. And so when they went to see him, they found him in his cave, meditating, naked. And so they spoke to him. They told him, why is your body naked? This is unacceptable. You can't do these holy spiritual practices like this, and you shouldn't be allowing yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself, put something on your body. And he told them, The entire cosmos is my body. And this cave is my pants. What are you guys doing in my pants? And this story just shows that people will always criticize, people will always judge. But how do you respond to it? How do you react to people's judgments? And so, if you could get this right, if you could delicately balance the time you spend with people and the time you spend alone, eventually, who you are is constant. When you are alone, you feel as pleasant as with being with people. And when you are with people, you feel as pleasant as being alone. You feel the serene calmness, the stillness with people and around people. And what tends to happen instead is that it's quite contagious. People become calm around you, rather than you becoming overly hyperactive around people. And so the center of influence changes. You are the center of the influence. And you recognize this through seeing that you are not the center of the universe. And so when you have the perception that you are not a fragmented piece of this existence, you are the existence. When you have the perception that you are not a victim of life, you are not going through life's obstacles, but life is going through you. You relax a bit. You exhale. And you realize that it's all okay. So yes, I decided to take a walk through the park today. Because most of the walks I've taken, they have actually been in national parks where not many people visit and perhaps litter around and, leave their byproducts. But at the same time, I also wanted to show that it's okay to be part of society. Perhaps sometime next week or the following week, I will do a walk with one of you guys. We will discuss life through two lenses this time. Not just this lens, but through your lens. So, thank you so much for walking along. I really hope that you have gained some insight, or you can share some insight. So, see you on the next walk.